So I'm hearing things like top three best comic book movies. The Suicide Squad. It's time to talk about it. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by CritiX.com, a place where we talk about movies, television, and pop culture. And if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe key and that notification bell so you can be up to speed about everything that I talk about here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I had the privilege, the honor, an opportunity to early screen James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. And there's a lot of buzz out there right now. I was super excited to see this because everyone is hyping this thing up. They're talking big about it. They're saying the best DCEU movie. They're calling it one of, top three best superhero movies. And I'm here to talk about that with you guys and give you my reaction and what I thought about this. And fair warning, there may be a little bit of spoiler things in this thing, but I will try my best to not spoil this film. So if any reason this is going to ruin your experience, because the film comes out later this week, and please go on, do your thing, watch the film, and then come back and we can throw blows about this film at a better time when you've already seen what you need to see and know what you need to know. Not saying I'm going to spoil it. I'm just saying that I'm going to try my best to not spoil it. Before we get into what did I think about this film and, if I think it holds up to the hype, let's talk about what it is. So, The Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad, which came out in 2016, which was directed by David Ayer, who was strongly campaigning an Ayer cut of this film, of the original Suicide Squad, and the fans are behind it. A lot of people want to see his version. Snyder is like starting this whole movement of directors who are not getting their fair cut. No pun, but you know what I'm trying to say. So the new Suicide Squad is helmed by James Gunn, who we all know is from Marvel. Yes, he's the man behind Guardians of the Galaxy, but was let go due to some controversy online with some very inappropriate jokes. And then while he was terminated at Marvel, Warner Brothers swooped in, said, you know what, hey, we got a job for you over here, buddy. What can you do with this obscure group of misfit villains? And how can you make it a little more Marvel-esque? We should say Marvel-esque. So James Gunn does the Suicide Squad, which stars Idris Elba, the return of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Then we have Joel Kinnaman, who comes in again as Rick Flag. We even have Jai Courtney, who comes in again as Captain Boomerang. And Amanda Waller, Viola Davis, she steps back into her role. But then there are some new characters that come into play that we see in this trailer. Some very obscure, awkward, weird villains who you probably would never have heard of outside of this film. They are in the DC Comics. They are very popular characters in their own sense and maybe in their own mind. But to the commercial audience, no one has ever heard of these people, such as Weasel, the Peacemaker, Blackguard. Who else? I'm forgetting. TDK, the Detachable Kid, by the way. That's what that stands for. Weird shit, played by Nathan Fillion. Is that how you say his name? Fillion, yeah. Nathan Fillion plays TDK, and there's like an ongoing joke with that. So yeah, that in King Shark, of course, who's voiced by the man himself, Sylvester Stallone, which works very oddly well. So now that we've gotten that out the way, the Suicide Squad, they're on a mission. Amanda Waller, same just from the original. To put the bomb in their head. If they run off, they get detonated. They must complete the mission in order to survive life. And then they get 10 years off their sentence because they're all criminals and they're all locked up. So now that we got that out the way, let's get into what did I think about the Suicide Squad. Listen, this movie is fucking fun as hell. Maybe more fun than it should actually be. And James Gunn manages to make it all make sense more than it should. I say this in my full lengthy written review that you guys can check out at CritiX.com. But there should be a phrase in Hollywood that says, If your if your franchise is failing, it's time to bring in the big gun, because I don't think anyone could have done this the way that James Gunn did this. Um, in the trailer is a lot of smoky mirrors, guys. Like, the things that you're seeing in this trailer, yeah, there are some very wild, out there, outlandish characters that get introduced who are from the DC universe, but I promise you that a lot of that is like plan B to a plan A, without giving away too much. Um, yeah, it's think diversion in order to allow the real deal to come forth. And the story, man, this is like Gunn's cosmic introduction for DC. The same way he did it with with Guardians of the Galaxy, how Feige put him in charge of the cosmic universe surrounding the MCU, and it all began with Guardians of the Galaxy, which introduced extraterrestrial life forms and things of that nature, and the outlandish space stuff, so that we can understand Captain Marvel, so we can understand Ronin, so we can understand Thanos, so we can understand Ego, the living planet, stuff like that. Imagine that, but in the DC world. He uses this film to introduce the cosmic world into the DCEU. Not saying that they're going to go forth and use it any more than they already have in this film, but he puts it down in a way where it's like, okay, this is feasible. Like, okay, if this was really going on in this world where villains are being used to become pseudo heroes, what would we put them up against? Weird, outlandish shit that no one's really talking about outside of Superman and Batman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and it fucking works. Like, not only does it work, it's just fun. It's very self-aware. It makes fun of itself. And we have the character, which is played by Idris Elba, which is Bloodsport, who pretty much watches this thing the way the audience would watch this thing. And he's the only one that's like in his right mind, but not in his right mind. They all think that they're pretty much mentally stable when none of them are mentally stable at all, but he may be the more grounded, stable individual of the bunch. And you see the world through his eyes, and it's very outlandish, very ridiculous, but the way he deals with it, it's comical. It's like, even this serious guy who's coming in this, trying to make this thing make sense, his sense of awareness is very hilarious. And very hilarious amongst the rest of the team, like John Cena, who is so over the top. He is like the Punisher and Captain America mixed in one, if that makes sense. The Peacemaker, who is in talk, or already confirmed, he's getting his own spin-off TV series for HBOMax, put together by James Gunn. Which, I mean, if you see the film, you'll understand why he's getting that movie, because he's really good at this character, and it's hilarious. Like, he's probably one of the most hilarious characters in this movie, outside of King Shark, who you would have never thought that they could make King Shark hilarious, but they do. For those of you who know the King Shark from the Flash TV show, this is a lot more family friendly, but still, this movie is extra violent. That's another thing. The film is very rated R, very gory, very action-packed, and a lot of language, and it's right up there with what the Suicide Squad should be. I'm pretty sure the original Suicide Squad was rated R. I'm pretty sure it was. But yeah, another character, of course, Harley Quinn. She comes in and she does her thing. The cool thing about what Gunn is doing is that he's reintroducing characters that we're already familiar with, at the same time letting new characters come in and play. So it's almost similar to like Civil War and Marvel. I keep comparing the two, but like, we accepted that because of the way that these characters were introduced to characters that we already know. So you already know what you're getting with Harley Quinn, and she continues to be the best Harley Quinn. And I don't think that anybody's ever going to top Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn at any point ever. She is like what Ledger was to the Joker, and you take it for what it is, because you already know how wild she is. One minor spoiler, because I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say how, I'm not going to say when, but a lot of old and new characters bite the bullet. Like, the carnage is real in this. They bite the bullet, but a lot of new and old villains make it through. So I'm not going to tell you who, I'm not going to tell you how, but like I said, that trailer, there's a lot of smoky mirrors. You guys think that it's one thing, and a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to take this thing seriously. But you know what? James Gunn says, fuck what you think. This is really what's going to happen in this movie, and you're going to accept it, and you're going to like it. And I'm telling you, by the end of it all, I really enjoyed it. Do I think it is top 3 superhero movies? No. By no means is this top 3 top tier superhero movies. But because of how well he took these characters from the book, and I'm talking bottom of the barrel, back page characters, put them on this platform and made them feasible in this universe, I will put this film in my top 10 superhero movies, because it's not really a lot of top 10 superhero movies. If you think about it, if you go back and you pull out a list of every superhero movie that's ever come out, a lot of them are not going to make top 10. Let's be real. Like, maybe 5 of those are going to be scattered around the Marvel Universe. Maybe 3 of those are going to be scattered around the early 79, 78, 80s. And then you have things like Suicide Squad and Joker. You know what I mean? Like, so when I say top 10, that doesn't mean that I think it's the end-all be-all greatest superhero movie. No, I'm saying that you could fit this in for being fun, for being action-packed, for being true to its characters, for giving you characters that you would never expect could ever be on the big screen and still work. Hats off, Mr. Gunn. Hats off. Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, I should say. Guys, you let me know what you thought. If you're excited to see this movie, if you've already seen this movie and you don't agree with what I'm saying, let's go at it. Let's talk about it. Drop those comments below. I'm open to conversation, because it's not about what I think. It's about what you think. And I just wanted to open a conversation and let everybody know. All right, guys, like, comment, share. Make sure you subscribe. And for more movie news, television news, pop culture, and my full written review of this film, check out wearecritics.com, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.